Hi everyone. Uh, I know you guys are all bored and going absolutely out of your minds inside, but it's time for us all to learn another ride. So, you may be wondering what this giant robot is for, and it is for this beautiful Bulliger and Mabiar Giga Coaster in front of you. Also, please excuse my frame rate. I am trying to export everything in HD. So you can see better. I'm going to choose your every position to work this ride. It shouldn't be too much different from Titanic, from Mega Mac, except a couple of the platform positions are switched around in relation to the front and back of the station. But mostly, most of the positions are the same. The only difference is there's, in addition to a merge, each entrance is separated, so cutting positions will work a little differently, and we won't be able to cut as many before we have to deal with this. In fact, there is only one position that can be cut, and that is entrance host, before we have to start lengthening shifts. That is the first position we will go over. Actually, we can cut crowd too, so 2 positions. So, in total, there are 4 platform positions, plus exit, plus 2 entrances, plus merge, as well as crowd and control. So there's 10 positions on this, just like Mega Mac. So why don't we go ahead and show you the rotation real fast. Excuse the music. It's programmed to play based on where you are. So exit's going to be mostly out here. Over there. And then from exit, you rotate down to entrance number 1, which is actually flipped in that it's going to be taking care of the easy queue. Got entrance number 2 over here taking care of the regular queue. From entrance 2, you rotate inside the building over here to merge, and then up to crowd, and then to our platform positions. These screens are meant to mimic the in-game effects behind the Phantom Egg. Whenever the train dispatches, these will play. They look pretty cool, don't they? That exit gate over there is pressure pad controlled, so you have to step on the pressure pad in order to open the gate. Alright, so why don't we start going over everything. Oop, don't want to accidentally open the gate. So here is the exit host. This is the first position to get cut should we need to cut any positions due to call-offs or anything like that. You are mostly in charge of guarding this exit gate, making sure no one enters the ride they're not supposed to. You're also in charge of watching medical bags. See, there goes the screens when the train goes. Like I said, you're also in charge of watching medical bags, as well as in charge of alternate access. So what you're going to do with alternate access up here, this is if there are 2 types of alternate access passes. There are the regular, which is mostly for physical disabilities, and then there's a plan your day, which is for more on the mental side of things. The regular boarding pass, first they're going to go up to entrance and get a time from you, and then they're going to come up here to the exit. When they come up here to the exit, you're going to look at the time they've been given, look at your watch to make sure the time that they're given is before the time on your watch or right on it. Only if their pass says FR can you give them the front row. You're going to cross it out. And then you're going to put them in whatever row they request except for the front. We'll get to assigning a time for the front later. Keep opening the gate. A medical bag is a specially tagged bag that carries medical supplies. This is a no loose article ride. More on that later. Medical bags can be brought into the queue, so you can go ahead and hold those somewhere over here and keep an eye on them. And of course, guarding the exit gate is paramount importance because you don't want people in the ride area while the train. Plan your day passes are different. Those are going to be in purple instead of yellow. The regular ones are yellow. The plan your days are in purple. This isn't the only difference, so please read the top of the pass. You're gonna open up your pass, and then you're gonna see a time, but no ride. Make sure the time here, time in the watch, is after that time again. Write in the ride, then cross it out. And then you're going to give them another time with the designated interval, which will depend on the crowd levels for the day. So that's the basics of it. Being an exit host, we're going to go around to entrance, both entrance positions. We'll probably stand somewhere in the middle there. So why don't we go ahead and go around like this. So we can take another look at the midway. The music playing right now is Titanic, Monarch, Act 1, Built to Rule, composed by T. Lopes for Sonic Mania, to which this ride is themed. A nice little apocalyptic wasteland that we're in the middle of here. Lights nice and dim. So we are just going to go over here to the entrance. As you could probably see earlier, both of our entrance chairs, as well as our controls chair, is our gaming chairs. So you can be comfortable. Just make sure you're not rolling around. Just make sure you're attentive at all times. Feel free to recline a little bit, but look approachable while you're doing it. It's kind of a new thing we're doing instead of the stools to make the sit-down positions a little more appealing, especially since they're outside, and in the summer months that can get pretty nasty. So this is our locker plaza we're walking up to right now. There are 10 pods of 240 lockers, so there's 2,400 lockers in this pod. Being a no-loose article ride means that if you have anything that cannot fit securely in a zippered pocket or down your shirt or in a fanny pack or purse that you carry on you, you have to put it in one of a great many lockers here. This includes backpacks of any kind, oversized purses and fanny packs, stuffed animals, basketballs, sport cups, souvenir cups. Any water bottle that's non-disposable cannot be brought in there. On the left is entrance number 2 guarding the regular queue, and on the right is entrance number 1 guarding easy queue. So at both entrances, you need to watch for loose articles that need to be put in these lockers. The height requirement for this ride is 54 inches. You're going to have a height stick, and we're going to put a height stand out here for each side. If you get a little overwhelmed, feel free to close off the line if you need to measure a guest or something, especially since you're going to be alone at each entrance. When you put them on the height stand, make sure they're standing all the way back. Head, back, and shoulders against the thing. Swing the little bar on top around if it hits their head. Solid. And I don't mean grazing. It needs to hit solid. They're going to go. If it doesn't, let them down gently. Be polite. Say, for your safety, we cannot let them ride because the restraint will not safely accommodate them. Blame the restraint. If you're really not sure, send them up to guest services at the front to get officially measured and get a wristband. If they are close, but you know for sure they're measured right, go ahead and give them a wristband. The wristband color will be black for 54 inches. So you're doing that here. Make sure you drink plenty of water. At some point, we're going to put sail shades over this entrance, but it's not exactly a priority since it's kind of cold still. Going over here to entrance number 1, you're in charge of the easy queues. We use the cubot system. So the way this works is those who have a cubot can select from a menu. Whoop. And it's gonna point you up toward the robot for a second. They can select from a menu on their small cubot device. And that'll give them a wait time, and it'll even buzz them when they're ready to ride. It'll place them in a virtual queue. Your job over here is to scan using your own cubot. And when you scan their cubot, it'll say how many people, what their time is, and just let them know if they need to wait still. It's very important we preserve the integrity of this, so cubot checks will be coming around every so often. And you could get a strike if you mess up on that. So let's not drop the ball on that, because trust me, you don't want that to be the reason you're dragged into a disciplinary hearing after you've accumulated strikes already from other stuff. For alternate access, for the regular passes, either entrance can handle that. So they just come up with their pass, the yellow pass. You put the name of the ride, you put your initials, and then you put the time they come back. The time must be the time it is now, plus whatever the wait time it is in there. And we will go over that in a second on our way to crowd. Or on our way to merge. Scratch that, there is no merge. So crowd's not getting cut. We only have one cuttable position. Forget what I said earlier. We just have one cuttable position. So the time you give them is the time now plus whatever the wait time is. If they want to wait for the front row, you add 15 minutes to that. One thing I forgot to mention at exit was at a minimum or at a maximum, loading of alternate access can only take place every 3 trains. Also at exit, you're in charge of handling VIP tours. Try not to double load if you can. Have them wait and put them all on the same train if you need to. We've had times where the park is at capacity and we've had to fill entire trains with alternate access or VIP tours. It'll happen every so often. Just keep your cool. All right, so that's all we've got here. When you're rotating, normally you go up the easy queue, which I'm going to show you now, but we're also going to be walking back down the queue. You're going to come through here and rotate up to crowd. If we do need to open queues, usually we'll have extras come and open them. Usually we'll have 1 or 2 extras who came back from break. If all else fails, have one side close their line and have people wait while they go open the queue. It'll be crowd who's in charge of reporting wait times up to the front. I should also tell you something about an item pass. Should any loose articles slip through the cracks, and believe me, they will, and they get to the front, crowd will turn them away, send them back up the easy queue line, the easy queue corridor, and give them an item pass. An item pass allows them to go out and put the item in the locker, and then come back up the easy queue. And you can just have the party wait to the rest of the party wait to the side. And of course, sometimes it happens that they don't come back, so it is what it is at that point. So you just walk up through here into corridor where the song Steel Cortex from Titanic Monarch Act 2 is playing. It's composed by T. Lopes. This is where you will be crowd. So first, let's take a walk through the queue. Gonna walk all the way back to the beginning. So each of these switchbacks here is 10 minutes. Station wait is 5 minutes, so 10 minutes. This is 15, 25, 35, 45. Down the steps. Each of these are 15 minutes. So an hour, hour 15, hour 30, hour 45, 2 hours, 2:15, 2:30. Walking through here is going to add another 10 minutes to that. So you're up to 2:40 in terms of wait time. Oh, it gets better. It gets way better. This queue is designed to handle a lot. Coming through here is another 10 minutes each, so 2:50, 3, 3:10, 3:20, 3:30, 3:40, 3:50, 4, and 4:10. Each of these over here are 20 minutes, so 4:30, 4:50, 5:10, 5:30, 5:50. I may have gone overboard with this. 6:10, 6:30, and walking through here is gonna be another 10 minutes. So we're at 6:40, and then each of these are gonna be 10, 6:50, 7, 7:10, 7:20, 7:30, 7:40, 7:50, 8, 8:10, and then walking through this corridor here is going to be another 30 minutes. Not 30, it's going to be another 20 minutes probably. So the final queue tally is 8.5 hours. And it only ever gets up to that once in a blue moon. But still, could you imagine? You've got all this Sonic stuff around you. And we've got Wi-Fi routers in here, so because we know you're not going to have signal once you get into this building. When you're at entrance, you'll know it's time to open a queue. when it reaches outside, so occasionally look behind you. If they're outside, call up to control, see if there's anyone who can open a queue. If not, have one of the entrances go do it, because we're not cutting entrances. So coming back through here, it's time to discuss some job duties. When you're at crowd, your main responsibility is to assign rows. If the wait time is exceeding 2 hours and 30 minutes, so all the switchbacks in the first two switchback sets are full, that means it is time to start firmly assigning rows, which means nobody can request a row anymore. Alternate access is still able to. Not even alternate access. And we will call up to entrance if we need to indicate that. Usually only gets to that point on Saturdays, other times of the year, and in the summer, usually Fridays and Saturdays or any day where there's really nice weather. You're also on the lookout for loose articles that shouldn't be in there. We've already gone over those. We spot one, send them out through the easy queue, which, by the way, is a solid hour if it's filled up. Or actually an hour and a half if it's filled up to the brim. So be on the lookout for those. Give them the item pass. And they'll go down, put their item in the locker, and they'll come back up. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Also be on the lookout for and they'll come back. You also need to be on the lookout for missing limbs. It can be an arm and a leg diagonally. It cannot be 2 arms. It cannot be 2 legs and 1 arm. At least 1 arm and 1 leg diagonally at the bare minimum. So you can assign them any way you want, front to back, back to the front. And either way works. So as long as you make sure the train is full, especially on those rare days when we have the 8.5 hour wait. So we're done with crowd. And who's ready to start platform positions? And this next train will begin here at Enable. And then you rotate to load 2. Then controls if you're trained. Then unload 2. And then unload 1. So once these gates open, we'll go on. Let's just phase through here. Physics have left the chat. Oop, oop, oop. Let's not fall through the floor. Big thanks to Popcorn Rat for doing that spiel, by the way. This is the enable panel. It's got 4 buttons on it. It's exactly the same as it was on MegaMac. From here, you're going to be responsible for checking the seats of the first 4 rows. Going to be checking the 2 seats on this side. If you need, you're going to put up a 1 if you need the first 2 rows released. And then you're going to put up a 2 if you need rows 3 and 4 released. You're, of course, going to watch the train as it goes out. And while you're checking, you're going to make sure there are no loose articles in the train and that no one has their phone out. Try not to hit that emergency stop in accident, otherwise everyone's going to hate you. This button needs to be held down until all trains going in and out of the station have stopped moving. The next train, we're gonna start checking seats. You're gonna check these first 4. You're gonna push and pull the lap bar with a firm tug. There is no seatbelt. Also look up at the screen to make sure every lap bar is down as far as it needs to go. These will turn green right here if they need to be pushed down more. So just look out for your row. So, all right, let's start checking some seats. You can push and pull the 2 lap bars at the same time. All right. Riders on the platform, gates are closing, so please stand clear. Push your gate close button. The manual and automatic gates will be taken care of by the controls over there. Right now this ride's on full auto. In manual, the gates would be closed. Whoop. Clearly we're gonna have to do this a different way. I'll figure it out in the next train. Let's just pretend that we're checking the seats after. I'm going to show you how to check the seats before the gates open because I honestly did not anticipate it being this way in full auto. We only run it on full auto while we're trying to warm it up, get it ready for state testing and commissioning. Alright, so you're going to come through here and check, and check. Just like that. It's first 2 seats. And then you're gonna wait and hold your button. And once these gates close is usually when you start checking seats. But with the ride fully automatic, it just won't work that way like it did with MegaMac, because MegaMac's platform is wider. All clear. Another thing to keep in mind is that at any point, should you need to cross the train, you'll put up your cross symbol, which is a hand extended over the train. When the control tells you to cross, then you may cross. You can cross right in front of these lap bars right here. They usually, if they're locked, you can just step over them, and if they're unlocked, you can hold on to them because they won't be able to pull them down until they get locked. So next train, we will go full run through, see if you guys know how to do this. Get some repetitions in. We'll do 2 repetitions, then we'll move on to the next position. While we're waiting, the interval, if you look out here, the interval is right here at the valley between the semi-speed hill and the Mako hill. So next train, we're going to check seats like real. The timing will be a little more true on the unload side. That's what you're learning, the timing. Right now, we're just learning how to check seats. Alright, come through here. Check. 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 And check. Look at your seats as you're coming back. Make sure no loose articles. Purses and fanny packs need to be tucked under the lap bar in such a way that they don't interfere with the lap bar. Especially purses. And scarves need to be taken off and tucked down. The shirt. And jackets need to be zipped, because we don't want them wrapping around a wheel and causing this thing to valley. And the main valley point is right down there between these here, because sometimes it won't quite make it up there on the colder days and it'll get stuck there. All clear. Make sure you hold that button down so that you don't accidentally let go and people hate you for a little bit because everyone's got to get off and reset. Unlike the pressure pads, this button will not time out, but we will get into that more later. Alright, go ahead and check seats. Check, 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 and check. Walk backwards, look at your seats. Oh no! Someone's a little too big. You raise your hand. You raise a 1 above your head. Control says rows 1 and 2 have been unlocked. Ride host, please recheck. You say, unfortunately, the restraint will not be able to safely accommodate you. We will need you to exit. In case you're wondering, it's 3 clicks. And they're relatively forgiving. Like Raging Bull. Like, as I stand right now, I could get 4 or even 5 of them if I get stapled enough. So, and then you recheck the 2 rows. You look back, and then you go back to your spot. You do the eye cycle. All clear. And then you hold your button. The eye cycle is you need to look down the platform to the back, and then just in front at your rows. Make sure there's no loose articles. Alright, let's fly over here to load 2. Load 2 is your first foray with the pressure pad. Order of clears. Real quick, before we get into that. At enable, you're going to put down your low clear before the train leaves the station. Before you do that, you're going to wait for low clears from both. Load 1, or load 2, and unload 1. Make sure the clear is held out so unload 1 can see it. We'll get into the why later. So, unload 2, not too different. You got your pressure pad. The only difference is you'll be checking seats back to front. Same way. Just make sure there's no loose articles, no phones. Make sure all purses and fanny packs are tucked under the lap bar such a way that they don't interfere with the lap bar. So let's practice checking seats from back to front. Check, 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 and check. Oop. Then you walk backwards, check your rows. The eye cycle is going to be over here in the right area to make sure there's no one here. And up to the front. You're going to stay off this pressure pad until you're ready to throw your clear out. When you're ready, you'll see the train. You'll be right here. You'll see the train come up the speed hill. Once that happens, you should come back and throw your clear out if you're ready. Throw out your low clear, and you're going to hold that sucker up until the train is fully out of the station, which shouldn't take long, because the drive tires are the fast kind for B&Ms, which means they're set to 7 to 4 or 5. All clear. Step on your pad. Do not step off of the pad. Otherwise, everything will stop. I'll need a reset. And everyone's going to hate you for a little bit because you just delayed them. And maybe they were on their way to hitting 45 cycles this minute, or 50 cycles, or 55 even, the record number, and you just had to muddy the waters. So don't be that person. All right, real time now. Go ahead and check, 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 and check. Look at your rows. Uh-oh. Row 5 is not turning green. You push down a little more, and you can't get it. So you hold up a 3. That'll cause rows 5 and 6 to be unlocked. You say, sorry, sir, the restraint won't safely accommodate you. You send them over to that lovely little exit gate over there. And then they close. And then lock the restraints by holding up a fist. Go ahead and check these. Go ahead and check your rows that were unlocked and go back. Do the eye cycle. Step on your pad and put out your clear. These pads will time out after 5 seconds, so it is imperative that you do not put out your clear until you are ready to dispatch the train. Once everyone's stepping on all their pads, they won't time out. So one more cycle, and then we're going to go to the other side and do unload. Let's just pretend the gates have already closed. Go ahead, check, 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 and check. Look at your rows to make sure nothing fishy is going on. Do the eye cycle. Look at the train to see where it's at over there. Step on your pad and put out your clear. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And don't be afraid to call out a hold if you see something that doesn't look right. In order to call out a hold, you're going to clap your hands above your head rapidly and loudly, and you're going to say hold. And then controls will put their hands in the air and say hold as well to acknowledge that you indeed called a hold. Don't be afraid to do that if there's anything fishy, such as a phone out. Even if it's during dispatch. During dispatch can get kind of annoying because it kind of ruins the phantom mag effect over here, but trust me, safety is a lot more important in that regard. Alright, so let's go over here, go to unload 2. This is your pressure pad for unload 2. You're going to check the last 4 rows. These 2 seats on each side. As usual, you're going to hold up a 3 or a 4, depending on which rows need unlocked. 5, 6, 7, and 8, respectively, and don't forget to look here. Don't forget to look over here as well to see where the train is, see if it's time to put up your clear and step on your pad. Because once you put up your clear, then unload 1's going to put up their clear. Look at enable will then give back a clear, and then they'll switch their clear to a high clear, letting controls know the train is ready to send. So we're going to start checking seats the next train. I know it's tempting to turn around and look at the pretty effects, but watch your train. You don't want to be that person who misses a phone. And then you find out about a phone flying out, they're going to come over and go like, where's my phone? It's going to be really annoying. And it's because you didn't watch out and make sure they had it away. So, don't be that guy. And don't step off your pad, because you don't want to be that guy either. Alright, so we're going to go over here. We're going to wait for the gates to close, which should be about... Riders on the platform, gates are closing, stand clear. In addition, you have to make sure nobody's crossing over to put anything down, but make sure it's a medical bag if they're saying it is. Make sure it's tagged, and if it is, give it to the exit post. They're gonna go ahead and check, and check. Walk back, look at your seats. Then you're gonna come back here. Do the eye cycle. Look back here, make sure no one's in the right area. Look up here, and then look to see where the train is. And when it's time, you're going to go ahead and step on your pad, put out your low clear, and hold that sucker till the train fully leaves the station. Do not step off your pad early. Cannot stress this enough. We're going to do one more at real time, and then we're going to go to unload 1. Sorry if this seems awkward. I don't have a script prepared because that's just what I do. Alright, riders on the platform, gates are closing. Please stand clear. They're closed. Restraints are locked. Check, 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 check. Look back. Make sure nothing fishy's going on. Go back to your safe zone. Do your eye cycle. Look over here. Where the train is. Go and stand here, put out your clear, and just hold it until the train is fully out of the station. Alrighty, once this train parks, we're going to go over to load 1. One thing I should tell you about unload 1 is that when exit is cut, unload 1 is in charge of medical bags and alternate access passes. Luckily, it won't be often that we have to do that. You're in charge of checking the first 4 rows. You check the front and back. Check, 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 check. So both unloads are front to back. Watch your seats. You're going to come over here and check the gate. And then when you're ready, you're going to wait till you see a low clear from unload 1 or unload 2. Once you do, you're going to put out a low clear so that load so that Enable can see it. Then they'll give you back a low clear, and then you will step on your pad and put up a high clear. Just like that. And then watch your train. And stay on your pad. Wouldn't it be great if we could have these pads electrified so that if you stepped off early, you would get a nice little zap? I think that would make things a little easier to remember. I'm kidding, of course. I go to an engineering school. I have an engineer's sense of humor. Alright. So, you wait for the gates to close. Should be soon.
Take your seat in front of you. Pull down your lap bar as far as
Riders on the platform gates are closing. Stand clear. Restraints are locked. Check. 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 Look back on your seats. Go over here and check the exit gate. Push-pull the gate. And then you're going to wait in front of your pad. So there's a low clear. You put up your low clear, face unload, or face enable. Enable puts down their low clear, and then you put up your high clear. All clear, and we are good to go. All right, one more cycle in real time, and then get you guys in the control booth. I know y'all are waiting for that, so.
Welcome back, riders. When the train comes to a complete stop, push down.
Who's ready for the control booth?
And exit to your left. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oncoming riders, please secure all loose articles. Everything left must ride with you. Nothing can be left on the station platform. Step quickly through the gate and take your seat in front of you. Pull down your lap bar as far as it will go.
Riders on the platform gates are closing. Restraints are locked. Check. 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 And check. Get your seats. Go over here, check the gate. Do your eye cycle. Step on your pad. Put up your low clear. Receive the low clear from Enable. Turn this way, put up your high clear. All clear. All right, who's ready for controls? Just a friendly reminder that unless you make it to the third day of Power Ops tryouts, you will not get to operate controls. So that should be a nice little motivator for you. If you want guaranteed controls training, make it to the third day. Power Ops training. Alright, let's give up that position. Let's go ahead and Illuminati through this door real quick. Welcome to the control booth. It's nice and cozy in here, and it's nice and red. Got this metal floor. Got a couple of nice banners in here too. And then this wall can start getting filled with Sentinel Awards, Perfect Attendance Awards, anything else that your leadership feels like putting in here. This is our control panel. You can see it's got another Sonic Mania overlay. It's got a few less buttons because it's not quite as a sophisticated ride technologically as Mega Mac is. So you see we got a bunch of buttons here, including two N305Gs, which is the supreme button of Vulgar and Babbyard. We got a lockout. This is for when you need to lock out the controls, if you need to go into the low zones to look for stuff, and you don't want anyone starting up the ride. And the lock can only be removed by the person who put it on there. So don't lose the key when you go out and do that, because you don't want to be that guy who the ride's down all day tomorrow, because you need to create a new lock for the lock that's on there, because someone else can't remove your lock. Got the E-stop button right here. There's an emergency. Do not hesitate to push it. If you hear really loud E-stop and you see the E-stop symbol from your ride host, which is putting your arms in front of you like a cross, like an X. You hit that E-stop, and the person who called it out will be responsible if it's unfounded. So you don't worry about it, you hit that E-stop. This resets the E-stop button. This starts and stops the ride power. The lift start and lift stop. Lift stop stops the lift. The lift start, in conjunction with another button over by the lift, is responsible for starting the ride up. So if you want to do that, you go out to the lift, and they go ahead and give you a low clear, which you should be able to see right out here. And then you hold down your button, and if it's in the morning, then you make the announcement that the trains will be moving, so please stay clear of the ride area. You hold it down until you see the trains start moving. These are your advance and dispatch buttons. You will get to know these very well. This is the restraint locking mechanism. Please do not lock the restraints until the gates close, because you cannot, if you check the restraint with the gate open, you have to check it. This HMI enable allows you to use the screen, the Panda View Plus over here, if you need to unlock individual rows. To do that, you're going to use the HMI enable to highlight which of these 4 squares correspond to the rows. If it's a 1, it's this one. If it's a 4, it's this one. Get the idea in between. And it'll unlock these rows. If a row is, if it's red for any reason, that means it's stuck closed and needs to go up. Might need a little push. If it's blue, it means it's not down far enough. If it's green, it means it's good to go. And only if there's all green may the train be dispatched. If it's gray, however, which is the only exception, that means you had to bypass a seat or a row, which you can do these buttons over here. Like a row, use the HMI to highlight this, and it'll highlight all of these in yellow. And then you hit the restraints button to unlock them again. And then you highlight this if you want to release all the seats. The push to talk controls your microphone. The acknowledge button, if there's an error on screen, it is meant to say you acknowledge the error, because it will not let you proceed with anything else until you acknowledge your error. And it might even tell you some steps to take. So who knows? These 3 keys, control enable, allows the control panel to operate the operation mode. Auto, manual, or transfer. Manual means manual block. You can use that when you're block testing in the morning. It's usually only for leadership and in charges, which will be designated by scores in the tryout. Transfer mode is if you need to transfer a train on, which we will also go over after the tryout is done. Alright, who's ready to send some trains? After the next, you'll witness it here, and then after the next train, you're going to slip into this comfy gaming chair. And then you're going to lock the wheels so that it can't move around. That way you can put all your weight in the control panel's buttons, and he won't roll back or forth. Just gonna wait here until we're ready. The eye cycle for controls is you're gonna look all over the platform, make sure no one's in the ride area. Try not to get distracted by anything going on in the queue. Alrighty. Just gonna wait for the next train to come in, and then it's time to go in the driver's seat. You'll receive your actual hands-on training for this when you come for your third day of tryouts. If you make the cut, that is.
Now you're ready to challenge the mind of Eggman Empire's dreams perfection and the true power effective.
Alright, we're here. Sorry that took so long. All clear. Those buttons, do not let go of them, because of all the times you don't want the rest of your crew to hate you for letting go of your buttons, it's controls the most, because that means you're a hypocrite when people are doing it to you and you tell them not to. So just keep that in mind.
Control the rest of your day. Upcoming writers, please secure all loose articles. Everything with you.
Don't forget to sign into controls every time you go in there too. Alright, gates open. And riders on the platform, gates are closing. Please stand clear. In case you're wondering, Spiel can change positions. It's usually unload. It's usually load 2 that Spiels. Oh, they're holding up a 4. Rows 7 and 8 have been unlocked by main controls. Row 7, 8 locked. Please recheck. Ice cycle. All clear. We're gonna do one more cycle and then we'll be done, and then we'll sign off. Sorry if this is a bit boring. Just thought I'd humor you with some career-saving advice. Because I don't know if anyone told you, but this is like the supreme ride to get for power-ups, so... Not only is it one of the longer intervals, but it's one of the most popular rides, too. So you're going to be having a lot of fun when you're over here, and it's really fun getting to see in action all the Easter eggs I put in. Alright, so the platform gates are closing. Stand clear. Push. Make sure you're watching for phones too, because you can lift stop if you see a phone go out of the station, or you can just let go of your buttons if you see it in the station. Try not to stop them if they're more than halfway up though, because really 309 feet up the stairs is just no one's idea of fun, except a certain person I know would gladly do it at any height. All clear. Not telling you who it is, but he knows who he is if he's watching this. Oh, believe me, I feel the same way. Alright, once the train parks, we're going to take you back out front, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. Alrighty.
Please support all these articles. Everything left the station platforms like cooking,
I hope everyone enjoyed controls.
as far as it will go. Raise your arms so no foe can check it.
Go ahead and Illuminati out of the station.
Arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. Now get ready to challenge the fun.
As you can see, yes, the music indeed does change based on where you are. It was a bit of a pain to get it to do that, but that's another thing that's cool about this ride. You don't really hear the outside music inside. You don't really hear the inside music outside. I hope everyone's ready for the tryout. This is one of the most competitive rides. If you're able to try it on this ride, I have to say, awesome. Don't forget, like I said for Mega Max video, just because this is the ride you try out at, doesn't mean that this is the ride you're going to get. Remember, the highest scores get first dibs where they go. So. And I bet you everyone's going to be racing to choose Titanic Monarch as their ride. Back out to the locker plaza. And if there's a guest on the midway while you're rotating, feel free to walk and talk, but do try to help them. And a thing I've been seeing recently at our rides, especially with the COVID-19 stuff going on, just before the parks that are still open, I'm seeing phones sometimes. Phones on the midway isn't as big of a deal, so sometimes it'll just be a documentation. If you use it in a safety-sensitive position, though, that is an automatic disciplinary hearing. No specific strike number, it just gets you straight to a disciplinary hearing, where you may or may not be terminated. So don't be that person who poses significant risk to their crew because he couldn't keep your phone in your pocket for a few hours during your shift. Alright, so that's it for now. I hope everyone enjoyed that little training sesh, and can't wait to see you all for the Power Ops tryouts coming up in about a month and a half from now. I'm really hoping that the coronavirus is going to start going away by that time, so you all can come back and try out and get to work this really cool ride. So this is Sentinel Parks signing off, and see you later.